Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today on a great day for Bearcat football fans as we welcome a proven winner with a great reputation as a culture builder and a leader of young men to the University of Cincinnati, our next head football coach, Scott Satterfield. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the president at the University of Cincinnati, Neville Pinto.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. I'll be very brief. First of all, just welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here. Thanks to all our supporters for your support, your love for the Bearcats, love for the University of Cincinnati. I want to also acknowledge one of our trustees is here, Phil Collins. Thank you for being here, Phil. Appreciate it. And I want to welcome our new coach who will be introduced, so I'm not going to reveal his name. The big reveal is left to our athletic director. But I want to welcome him and his family to Cincinnati. And that welcome comes from all 48,000 students we have, all 350,000 alumni, and a very, very excited city. So thank you very much for being here today. And finally, one thank you. Thank you to our athletic director. Thank you to him. Thank you to his staff and team that has literally worked around the clock from a week ago Saturday till well past midnight last night. And he has done it with a real commitment to excellence, a focus on the success of our student athletes. Their welfare was at the center of all the work he did. You know, he said, and I have a quote here last Sunday, "We are going to find a coach that is going to lead this program and win championships." By golly, John, you've done it. So let me welcome him to the podium and let him introduce our new coach.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is an exciting day for the Bearcats. On the day that we celebrate the anniversary of Pike to Bins, one of our great moments, I am pleased to introduce Scott Satterfield as our new head football coach and welcome his wife Beth and their 3 children, Bryce, Isaac, and Allie, to the Bearcat family. But first, let me thank a few people that were instrumental to our process. Senior staff members John Daniel, Brad Pike, and Maggie McKinley for all of your help. General Counsel Lori Ross and Associate General Counsel Lauren Compton. Our SID, Zach Stipe. And of course, President Pinto and the UC Board of Trustees for all of their continuing support. I also want to issue a big thank you to Kerry Combs for leading our football program during this transition. He, along with the staff of all of our coaches that stayed with this team, have done a remarkable job in very difficult circumstances. I want to thank and commend our young men on our football team. They have shown incredible maturity during this time, and I told them when I started this search that it was going to take a week. I told them I thought it would be a week, but it was going to feel like a month, and boy, did it. There's a lot of outside noise that naturally takes place during these types of situations, and they have been able to stay focused on their team, on the bowl preparations, and on their schoolwork. And that really goes directly to the culture that Luke Fickell instilled. 1 week and 1 day ago, I walked into the football team room and looked at the faces of our young men, and I told them that I was going to do everything possible to find the best football coach for them, not anyone else. But I wanted the right fit for the University of Cincinnati and all of those young men that give so much to our program. Our search revolved around the student-athlete and the student-athlete experience, as Dr. Pinto pointed out. I met with our team and I asked them for the traits that they felt were most important for our next head coach. They wanted someone who was authentic, tough, honest, competitive, straightforward. They wanted someone who would make them better as men and, of course, as football players and help them reach the next level. My goal was to make their day-to-day experience amazing and meaningful. I wanted them to step into the football building and love coming into that building and putting so much effort, blood, sweat, and tears into this program. To love to play football at the University of Cincinnati and to appreciate the education that they were receiving, not just from the professors on campus, but from their coaches on the football field. I have found the coach that this and program builder in Coach Satterfield. He wins. 76-48 as a head coach. He took a 2-10 Louisville team and took them to 3 bowl games in 4 years. He is 4-1 in bowl games and won 3 straight Sun Belt championships at App State. Louisville this year beat 5 teams that had at least 7 wins, and they were the only school in the country to do that. Coach Satterfield wins. He wins the right way with a student-centered approach. He is going to propel us into the Big 12. So today I ask that we, as Bearcat faithful, lock arms with Coach Sat. We invest in him and his program. We continue to fill Nippert and bring Big 12 energy to that stadium. We recognize the new world of college athletics, and we invest in our NIL program through Cincy Reigns. And together, as a Bearcats community, through our football program under Coach Satterfield, we connect our community, we enhance our university, and we help change the lives of our student athletes. Please join me in welcoming the new head football coach at the University of Cincinnati, Scott Satterfield. This is all fun stuff. Oh, yeah. We got his visor.
All right, and take the visor off. Awesome. Man, what an honor it is for me to be here. It truly is. I mean, I'm honored to be a football coach, to be able to help mentor young men, and not a better place than to do it right here at University of Cincinnati. And I'll go into that a little bit. But I do want to thank several people right off the top. President Pinto, I enjoyed our time visiting. What an awesome leader for this university, and I can't wait to continue our relationship as we move forward. Athletic Director John Cunningham, tremendous leader as well, and the vision that they have for this program is really why I wanted to be here, as a big reason, and I'm certainly thankful for those 2 individuals. I want to thank my wife, Beth, and who has been through everything. You know, as a football coach, you have a lot of ups and downs. Fortunately, we've had a lot more ups, but she's she's my rock. She's been there all along the way, and just a tremendous supporter. You guys will get, it'll be a joy for you guys to get around her and get to meet her. I have 3 children. One is here, Isaac. Isaac is my middle child. He goes to University of Louisville, but he's looking to transfer immediately, as quickly as he can. I have a daughter who's out west at Grand Canyon University. She's a freshman out there in Phoenix, where it's probably 80 degrees right now. And I have my oldest son who's 21, who is in Bozeman, Montana, where it's probably 12. So my kids are all over, but have been obviously a huge part of our lives, and love and cherish them. And they're looking forward to coming here and celebrating with us. I also want to thank Josh Hurd, the athletic director at Louisville, and I especially want to thank my players at Louisville. That's where my heart's at with those players. We spent 4 years there, gave it everything we had, all our heart and soul poured into those guys, and they changed the program, and I'm forever grateful for those guys. I also want to thank the players I coached at Appalachian State. I spent 23 years there as a player and a coach, and it helped mold me and build me. And my head coach, Jerry Moore, who was there a long time and as a Hall of Fame coach, and did things the right way. And that's where I learned to do it like that, and I know you can win that way. In his 24 years, he had one losing season. It was incredible. What a great mentor he is for me. But today, it's about Cincinnati football, and it's about going into the Big 12. I'm extremely excited about that. I had an opportunity to meet with the players today. Exciting time. I know they were apprehensive about, all right, who's our coach going to be? But for me to go in there and see their faces, man, they're eager, they're hungry, and excited. And the one thing that I told them that we're going to do is surround them with some coaches and men that are going to help mentor them, that are going to pour into them, that are going to love them, they're going to hold them accountable. And every day, and I think, John mentioned this, but I love it when the players are in the building. Like I've already had players come to the office, and we're working right now. They're already coming by saying hello, and I want them there. That relationship that you have, that's what you have to have in this sport for sure. It's a strong relationship with your players to know that you care about them, and they're going to give everything they have for you, and that's what we're going to have. We're going to have that type of relationship. It's a relationship business. We have to be able to do that. So I'm excited about that. Come to Cincinnati with a program that is used to winning, that wins championships. I want to be a part of that. 12 bowls in 16 years. That's tremendous. We want to continue that. We understand we're going into a new era, new conference, the Big 12 Conference, which is an outstanding conference. Some great teams in that conference. I look forward to competing with them. Look forward to playing in this stadium right out here. And filling that stadium up. I can't wait. I stepped on that field for the first time this afternoon. It's awesome. It is awesome to fill that thing up and to create that home field advantage. I can't wait for that. I know this city is an outstanding city for football and for sports. It's going to be awesome to be a part of that. I was driving in. I was watching the Bengals play. It was awesome. That was a great game yesterday. To be able to live right here, to be able to go there. I've never had that opportunity. And I can't wait to experience the city and to get out and about and to experience the restaurants and the nightlife and of course, these professional teams. It's going to be fun. I think more than anything for me, it's all about our student athletes and how we can help mentor them. I told them also, my job is not only to go win football games and help them, become even greater than they thought they would, but it's also to help them to see what kind of fathers they're going to be, what kind of husbands they're going to be, what kind of community leaders they're going to be, and that's what we're all about. The whole person, not just a football player. So that's our mission as coaches, and that's when I surround them with a staff that's going to be able to do that. I'm going to look forward to visiting with some of the current staff members that are here right now that are getting ready for the bowl game. I anticipate bringing some staff members from the University of Louisville, and then potentially some others that are out there. We want to surround them with the best coaching staff in the country, and we have to do that. I do want to address this real quick. It's kind of a weird situation, right? I mean, Louisville's playing Cincinnati in a bowl game. I told both teams that I'm removing myself from bowl. I won't be there. Not going to be in that situation. My whole focus right now is putting together a staff and recruiting. I've already started recruiting, and we're going to recruit this afternoon. That's what we're going to do for the time until we can sign players and get them here. We have to. You're only going to be as good as the student athletes that you bring in, and that's what we got to do. We're going to hit the ground running. Already have, and so I'm excited about that. I just want to go ahead and address that because I knew that'd be a question that'll come up. But lastly, I just want to say, man, we're super fired up. My family and I, we can't wait to get started. Appreciate everybody that supports this program. We're going to need your support more than ever as we move forward. There's a lot of opportunity that you can have to really impact our program. NIL is one of those opportunities, and I think the way college football is now, we're going to have to jump on board with that. So we'd appreciate anyone that wants to get involved with that as well. That's going to help our program for sure. So with that, I guess maybe we can open it up.
Please raise your hand for questions. We'll pass the mic to you, Chad.
Coach Chad Brendel from Bearcat Journal. You talked about recruiting. How much importance do you think there will be placed on trying to maintain the current commitment list? I know you can't speak on them specifically, but how much of it is that, and then also finding the right guys, that fit your system?
Yeah, 100% about the current committed guys. That's what I'm going to do this afternoon. I'm going to try to reach out to those guys, and we want to get them on board. Bring them in. Hopefully this weekend we'll have a big weekend to bring them up for an official visit. They have to get to know me, obviously, and kind of our style of a program that we're going to have. And so yeah, it is a top priority. As well as going out and finding other guys that we think will fit our program.
John and then James.
Coach, how much use do you plan to get out of the transfer portal? What do you think of it overall? And will you be looking in terms of a quarterback through the transfer portal, because there's quite a few out there who are quite good?
Yeah, I mean, when they created the transfer portal, I think as a college football coach, you have to embrace it. If you don't, you're going to get it passed up, in my opinion. It's the world we're living in, and we will embrace the transfer portal. We'll be able to go out and try to find some guys that'll come in here and positively impact our team. I can't really speak on positions. I don't know. When I go back and start evaluating the roster and kind of seeing where we're at with that, then we'll kind of prioritize maybe who we need to bring in. But you're right, there's a lot. I mean, today's the first day that the portal is opened, and I haven't had time to look at it today, but there will be a time that we'll look at that. And again, we want to bring in some of the best talent in the country to come here and help us play. So we're certainly going to utilize the portal.
Coach, it says here that the assistant coach salary pool has risen to $7.25 million, the most they've ever invested. Is that something you asked for in your negotiations, and how do you think that positions the program compared to other Big 12 teams?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have to continue to invest in our program. We have to, and now we're going to the Power 5 level in the Big 12, and we're going to have to continue to get some of the top coaches in the country. It's a very competitive landscape. And if we want to continue to get those kind of coaches, then it has got to be compensated. And so that I have not looked at on par with anybody else in the Big 12, but it's getting closer to that, and to be very competitive in that, you have to have a competitive salary, right? And so that's going to help us to bring in some top talented coaches that'll be able to pour into these guys. So we have to be able to do that.
Is that something that you would ask for in negotiations?
Yes, it is. We have to continue, but quite frankly, I didn't have to ask for it. As I said before, the administration here wants to be good in football, and they know you have to invest in it. And for me, that's one of the big reasons I wanted to be here with that leadership that we have at the helm.
Hey, sorry about that. You're replacing the winningest head coach in Cincinnati Bearcats history. That's a tall task. What's the plan going into it to try and fill Luke Fickell's shoes?
I've done that before. Coach Moore was the winningest head coach in Appalachian State history, and it's a challenge, right? I mean, everybody expects you to come in and just kind of pick up where they left off. But I'm not Luke Fickell. I'm going to be Scott Satterfield, and I'm going to do the things that I think that we need to do to be successful. It was the same way when I followed, Jerry Moore. I have a ton of respect for Luke. What he did here was tremendous, unbelievable job, and so it is difficult, and then we're not playing in the same conference, right? I mean, it's going to be a different conference. The competition is going up, and so that presents new challenges as well. But like I said, we're going to take it day by day and do the best job we can to get the best players, the best coaches that'll be able to compete in the Big 12, and that's what we're gunning for. And I don't look at it that way. I look at it as we're going to do the best job we can do.
Just a quick follow-up on that. You mentioned the changing conference. How much do you think expectations record-wise need to be tempered in moving into the Big 12?
Well, probably everybody will expect us to win every game, right? I mean, we're going to expect to win every game. I think you have to go in it that way. Like, we're not going into it, saying, hey, we'll go in here and try to be, whatever, pick a number. We're attacking every single game to go win it. And, in order to do that and give yourself a chance, then this offseason, you have to be tremendous in the offseason. You have to get great players. We have to have a great winter program. We have to be awesome in spring practice and have a great summer in order for us to be able to compete in the Big 12 when we start next season. So it starts now.
Hey, Scott, bit of a two-part question here. At what point did you start pursuing this opportunity? Was it after Louisville season ended? And you obviously had the situation with South Carolina a few years ago. What wasn't working in the Louisville relationship for you to look elsewhere and pursue another opportunity?
Well, this just came about very recently, and again, reasons that I wanted to come here was championship caliber program, great leadership in the university and in the athletic department, the opportunity to take a program and going into a new conference. That I like the challenge, and and the opportunity to be at a great city. I mean, there's so many things here that aligned with what I want and our family wants. And once I had an opportunity to meet with the leadership here, I knew, I was like, man, this is the place I want to be. And then it was up to them to see what they wanted me. And then when that happened, it was go time. And again, so I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about moving forward with it and the opportunity that we have.
Just to clarify, was there anything specific that just wasn't adding up at Louisville or pushed you to look elsewhere, I guess?
No, I mean, I'm not going to say anything negative about Louisville. Again, we poured everything, our heart and soul into that program for 4 years. I met some outstanding individuals there and some great people that helped impact my life moving forward. So I'm just happy about this opportunity here.
Coach, you're known as an offensive coach, have an offensive background. How do you see your style of play meshing with maybe the current roster that's here and any players you would bring in?
I really hadn't studied, the roster here. I think, our style of play, we want to be very physical. We want to be a physical team, offensively and defensively, very aggressive on defense. Our teams at Louisville were, top 5 in the country in sacks, tackles for loss, turnovers gained. And that's an attacking style defense. Offensively, we want to be a multiple offense. We got to find ways to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. And, we got to be physical up front. We got to be able to run the football and throw the football. We've done fast tempo before. We've spread people out. We've also gone, 3 tight end sets. So I just think in this day and age, you have to be very multiple, whether it be defense or offense. You just can't line up and do the same thing over and over and over. And I know the Big 12 presents a lot of different challenges within that. And so as we dive deeper into our team and we start looking at the personnel, then we'll cater toward what we have, the strengths, right? And so I think we won't know more about that a little bit later on.
Coach, one of the staples of this program over the past 20 years has been recruiting locally.
Yes.
How much recruiting have you done in Cincinnati, and how much will that be a focus as you put your staff together to make sure that you stay there?
Yeah, this is a top priority in this area. Cincinnati high school football is unbelievable, and so is the state of Ohio. It's one of the best states in the whole country. So we got to stake down this area right here. We got to comb these high schools. I got to hire people in this staff that will be able to go out and that already have those relationships. And that's going to be a top priority for us. So I 100% agree with what they've been doing the last 20 years. It's worked very well. There's a lot of pride in this state and in this city when it comes to high school football. We want to embrace that and continue to bring that on. And can't wait to get out and see the coaches. I was at Louisville not far away. We did come up in this area. We have recruited players from there to come down and play for us. We would like to have gotten more from this area. For whatever reason, didn't work out. But yeah, we're going to comb the high schools all around here, and hopefully, and those guys will come in and embrace us here and want to be a part of this program.
Coach, you've transitioned well from the FCS to the FBS. Is there any parallels that maybe you can draw from that as you're transitioning from the American Athletic Conference to the Big 12 Conference?
Yeah, I think it's all new. We're going to be playing a bunch of new teams that we haven't really faced, and we got to do a great job of getting into the film and really studying these teams. Because you got to get a feel and a flavor for the style of play that happens in the Big 12. And a lot of talented teams, and and the way you go about that, it still comes down to your fundamentals, playing smart football, and then also the kind of players that you have playing for you. So I don't care what league that is, it still comes down to that. So We got to do everything we can here to put the best product on the field. At the same time studying the blueprint of successful teams in the Big 12. Let's go back and look and let's see what they've done. I think certainly that we're going to do that this whole offseason and really study that hard to figure out how we're going to be able to be competitive in this league.
You had briefly mentioned in your statement the upcoming Fenway Bowl against the University of Louisville. Can you further define what your role will be in that bowl and the preparation for the game?
Yeah, I'm staying away from that. I'm recruiting. I'm building out my staff. That is my total focus. I'm not doing anything with the bowl. I'm not doing any game planning. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. All I'm doing is getting our staff and trying to build it out and recruit. That bowl actually is kind of negative with recruiting, in regards to recruiting. It's in 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks now, and it's really, whenever that bowl was announced, I'm thinking, man, this is going to hurt us in recruiting. We can't go out. So I'm going to focus that, and some of the guys that we're going to come up here to help me over the next few weeks do that. The signing date is December 21st. It's going to be here very, very soon.
And just a brief follow-up to that, will Coach Combs lead the Bearcats through that bowl game?
He will, yes. Coach Combs has done a great job so far. In the time, since Coach Fickle left, and time we got here. I just saw it. I can see how that staff has done an outstanding job. So Coach Combs will lead the team. He will lead everything, for the next week and a half as they go to the Fenway Bowl. And, then when we get back, I look forward to meeting with the coaches and the staff and, figuring out what we need to do as we move forward to January.
Coach, building off the recruiting, I was speaking to some high school coaches this morning, both locally and around the state, and not a lot of them know much about you. What's your message to those coaches that you're going to be recruiting from, and just the Ohio prospects, talent, what all those guys?
Yeah, no, like I said earlier, we're going to come see them. We're going to come. We want to keep the talent of this state right here, and there's no reason why a talented football player here should go anywhere else. They should be staying right here and come playing for us. And we'll make that known. We'll get out and about with the high school coaches in the area. We'll have open doors here where they can come over here and visit with us. We got to have that, hand in hand with those high school coaches in this area. So, that's going to be a top priority. And if there's a high school player here that can play, we want them to come play for us.
With the transfer portal opening today, what's been the message to the current players? I know it's been a fast 24 hours, but what's been the message to the current players on the roster?
Yeah, I met with the players today, and again, I don't really know the dynamic of the roster yet. I hadn't had time to do that, but we want these guys to stay here, and help us continue what they've been doing. Once I dive into the roster, like I said, I met with a few players already. There'll be others that will come up. Each one's situation is going to be a little bit different, and so I look forward to, if there is a situation with a player that's maybe thinking about it, hey, come see me. We're going to talk it out and figure out what the best plan of action will be. But certainly we want these guys to stay here and help us continue what they've been doing.
Coach John Cunningham talked about NIL being very important in this hire. Can you talk about how you've used that, how you've succeeded with it? And how you see it moving forward?
Yeah. Well, I think, when COVID happened, there's also a couple of things that happened within the rules. We allowed the one-time transfer, and we allowed, the NIL. The NIL in itself, I think, is a good thing. I think, across the country, we've had student athletes that are well-known in their universities, also throughout the country, and they couldn't compensate on their name at all. So I do think it's a very positive thing. And so I think, we're certainly going to embrace that. If we have top tier athletes that will garner the opportunities to make a little bit of money, then we should do that. As the teams I've seen throughout the landscape that have embraced NIL, they were able to get some of these top tier talented players. And if we want to continue to get the top tier talented players there, we're going to have to be able to embrace that and invest in that. And I think that's certainly something that we will do as we move forward. The one-time transfer piece is a whole nother subject. I mean, that piece is the most challenging thing for coaches. Every coach that I talked to this year at midfield pregame, we're all having the same challenges. Because we're obviously recruiting our own rosters now. of players to stay. You know, you're recruiting high school players, you're recruiting the portal. So there's a lot of dynamics going on there in a short period of time, you know, between right now, you know, and the start of the next semester. So that makes it extremely challenging.
Do you see a day, and not necessarily Cincinnati, but just college football in general with NIL, and is it concern you that you'll have divided locker rooms, that some kids are going to be paid a lot of money and some kids aren't going to be paid at all? Like, how is that a concern for you? And I'm sure it's already crossed your mind how to handle it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a concern. I mean, you guys have seen some of the numbers that are out there across the country. There'll be some quarterbacks out there making more than a quarterback coach, you know, which is insane to me. But that's the world we're living in right now. And it is, because us as coaches, we're team builders. You know, and particularly in our sport, and you know, you have 115 guys in the locker room. There's 11 guys that are going to play, but we have to make it a team. We have to you know, play for each other, play for your brothers beside you. So that's what our focus is. I think there's a time and place when the players will talk about their opportunities. Once we get in the locker room, it's ball. We're going to ball. We're playing for each other, and I think you know, from my experience, our players at Louisville that had NIL opportunities, they would even tell their teammates, guys, it's ball time now. We're playing ball. We're not worried about the business side of it, because that's really what it is. And so you want mature players that can be able to focus on the task at hand, which is playing ball and working out and getting the best they can be.
Coach, how much did the brand new athletic facility going in this upcoming year and the next 2 years, how much did that play a factor in you jumping from Power 5 school to Power 5 school?
Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome that what we're getting ready to partake in. You know, I think as you think about recruiting and you think about bringing student athletes on campus, you know, and seeing what you have to offer, they're going to a lot of other universities that have a lot of things that are really nice, you know, and because they know, like for example, the indoor that we're getting, the new football complex, that, you know, that's where they're going to be spending most of their time, and they want it to be state of the art. They want it to be extremely nice, and we're competing with schools now in this new conference that have a lot of those things. So it's extremely important. It also speaks to the vision. It also speaks to where we want to go and where we want to be, which is very exciting for me. So it certainly played a big part in that. And so again, yeah, I'm excited to put a shovel in the ground and get that thing going, so we can start using it.
I know you haven't really had time, you've mentioned multiple times, to really comb through the roster, but there are guys on this team with college football playoff experience, Pro Football Focus having them ranked as the top 10 in the country at their position. You might not have ever met them prior to today. What's your pitch to keep them here?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, again, we certainly want them to stay. You know, we want them to be a part of what we're building here. Whenever I get an opportunity to meet with them one-on-one, we certainly will be able to help that. You know, the pitch is, and what I told them earlier, is I'm going to surround them with some great mentors, some great guys that are going to pour into them, not only as a football player, but as a man. And I think, you know, their parents will want their kids to come play for us. You know, I think we hadn't had any issue about guys leaving our program. Matter of fact, at Louisville, guys, they all wanted to stay, you know. But when a guy's been there 3 years and maybe he hadn't played as much, you know, I think for us, advice for some of those guys is say, listen, we can help you go somewhere if you want to go play somewhere, you know, if you really want to play, you know. And I think, so in that regard, I think the portal's been good. But if a guy is a starter and is a great player, then all we want to do is make him better and continue to elevate him. And those are things we can do. And so we get opportunity, you know, to meet one-on-one. That's certainly some things that we'll talk about with those players.
Yeah, Scott, do you feel like you had the full backing or investment from the Cardinal fan base at Louisville and the athletic department, especially with NIL developing and a really strong recruiting class that you had gotten at U of L, ranked top 20 nationally?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, certainly, you know, we had some opportunities there to be successful, you know, and to help in recruiting. I think, you know, without the backing, you're not going to be able to put together a class like we were putting together there this past recruiting cycle, really the last year and a half. And, you know, and I think, you know, hopefully we're going to continue that here and be able to recruit at a high level here. And I think, so that's really more my focus, is to focus on the Cincinnati Bearcats, making them one of the best teams in the country, and to continue to build this program up. Yeah.
What is the time frame that you have to bring in staff and coaches? I'm also interested
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a challenging time right now, and the landscape is certainly changing a lot as well. You know, I think we just have to continue to focus on what we can control, and that is doing the very best we can with our staff and bringing them in. You ask about when, as soon as possible. We have to hit the ground running right now. We can't wait. You wait a day, then that's a day gone. That's a day somebody else is talking to these recruits. So we're going to get some guys in here ASAP and hit the ground running. The landscape in the Big 12, like, you know, I don't even know who we're playing next year, right? I mean, there's a lot of teams. You're not going to play all of them, you know, so we don't even really know what the schedule's going to look like, who we're playing. But whatever's presented in front of us, then we're going to get a plan to attack that. You know, I don't sit here and I don't worry about things I can't control. I'm going to worry about what I can control. That's putting together an outstanding staff, pouring into our student athletes, and getting to work. That's all I can control.
Speaking of time frames, as much as you can shed light on, Coach, how quickly did this deal all come together, and kind of maybe walk us day by day this weekend of how it all came to be?
Well, I mean, it came together quickly, you know, and it happened very fast. And, you know, I think this time of year is always crazy, you know, for football coaches, and the timing's never good. You know, it's not good for, you know, you guys just went through it with Coach Fickle. You know, it's not good for the team that you're leaving. It's a lot of apprehension of the team you're going. You know, and it's this time of year, bowls are happening. We're trying to recruit. You know, it's so many things that are going on. And, you know, that part I don't like. You know, it'd be awesome if we said, listen, everybody finish your season, everybody finish your bowls, and then, all right, now we can start, you know, any kind of coaching carousel that's out there. It doesn't work that way. Last season, there was coaches that were fired, you know, 3 games into the season, you know, which I think is ridiculous. That's just my opinion. You know, I do think that, you know, you should be finishing your season, and then let's see what happens after that, you know. But, again, we're in this coaching landscape that we're in that is ever changing. And where we're going, you know, who knows? But I do know this, you know, again, we have to do the very best job we can and put the best product on the field to go compete in the Big 12 so that we can be a part of those 12 teams that are going to be in that playoff. And that's our goal. That's our mission. And let's go get it done.
You keep mentioning putting together a good staff. How much of that is the off-field personnel, the recruiting staff that you did a good job of putting together at Louisville?
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. You have to have the support staff nowadays. You know, as you think about the portal that we're living in now, this world, we have to build out our recruiting staff. You have to, and that's the one thing that we did at Louisville. When I got there was one person. Right now there's 7. You know, we have to continue to invest in that and to pour into that. You know, you're only as good as the players you're going to have on your roster, and so I thought we did a great job with that there, and we'll continue to do that here. That's what we're in the process of doing, building out that recruiting department, bringing in some guys and gals that will really help us bring the top talent here.
We got time for one more question. Good? Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.